New data. West Jordan Fire's creative way dealing with a rise in calls for service.
100.
Thank you, Tyrese. West Jordan's fire chief says demand for service in his city has gone up steadily now for 15 years. But as new specialist Andrew Adams found out, fires aren't the cause of the increase, and the department has had to get creative.
Yeah, the chief says the increase is coming from medical calls. He says up to 85% of all calls are medical, but not all medical calls require an emergency response. Now, a little bit early, we stopped by here at West Jordan Fire's main headquarters to talk to the chief about what he's seen. He told us his department has seen roughly a 4% increase in calls for service per year over the past 15 years. He says that number has held fairly consistently. But again, he doesn't attribute that to the number of fires or even to the city's population.
Some of that increase, though, I attribute not just to population growth, but also an aging demographic, and also with the increased costs of health care. People are accessing health care through ambulances oftentimes rather than going to their doctor or whatever, and so I think that's part of the increase that we see each year.
Well, the chief says those are calls for things like chronic conditions, and it's a significant enough part of the total that the department had to get creative. He believes West Jordan Fire is one of the first to partner with a private home health and hospice company to connect people with chronic conditions with the services they actually need. That partnership has now been in effect for less than a year, and the chief says so far they've had very positive results. The chief says oftentimes people don't know that these services are available to them and that they're even free through programs like Medicare and Medicaid. So it's trying to get the word out that way. He says he doesn't want to discourage people from calling firefighters whenever they need help. He says give them a call and they will respond. Back to you.
All right, Andrew Adams live for us this evening. Thank you.
All right, Kevin joins KSL-5 News at 6.
Live and streaming. This is KSL News at 6.
West Jordan firefighters say facing steadily increasing demands for their services is part of a consistent trend line that stretches back well over a decade.
And you might be surprised by the reason for that demand. As new specialist Andrew Adams found out, it's not fires or even population growth. Andrew?
Well, it sounds like there might be a population component, as in an aging population, but the fire chief says the long-term trend is about a lot more than just growth.
West Jordan's a growing community.
In a place that is growing,
The whole state's growing.
it would make sense. The demand would also grow for what firefighters do.
As we look at it over the last 15 years, we've been averaging about a 4% increase per year.
Chief Derek Maxfield says he doesn't believe, though, that growth alone explains the rise in calls for service at West Jordan Fire.
With the increased costs of health care, people are accessing health care through ambulances oftentimes rather than going to their doctor or whatever.
Firefighters are highly trained to respond to medical emergencies, but the chief says that's not always what the calls are about.
A lot of people reach out and call for an ambulance for things that are chronic conditions or things that maybe don't necessarily necessitate an urgent, emergent response.
To deal with that pattern and an aging demographic, the department took what it believes was a first-of-its-kind step within the past year.
We have partnered with a private home health and hospice company, and then information with the patient's permission is sent to this company, and within 24 to 48 hours, they will reach out to the patient.
The chief says many people don't realize what care is available to them, often for free under programs like Medicare and Medicaid. And the goal of the department's Ability to Thrive program has been to connect those in need of services with resources.
We never want to discourage someone from calling us. We will always respond regardless of the situation.
Firefighters say they've already seen positive results as the demand continues to grow.
We've provided an avenue for them to refer that patient to get the care that they actually need.
Well, the fire chief says that the department is meeting demand in other ways as well. The city purchased property for a new fire station on the west side, and he says that they also have plans to boost staffing and the fleet in the years ahead. Back to you.
All right, sounds like a lot of changes in a growing city. Andrew, thank you.
A Utah officer is being on 28.
Well, here's a situation we've all been in, right? You're at a red light, no other cars are coming, and you're stuck waiting for that light to turn green. Does it sound familiar?
Oh, we've all felt that
Yes.
frustration. New specialist Brian Carlson decided to look into it to find out how traffic light works and why some do better than others.
Yeah, nobody likes getting stuck at the light that takes forever to turn. I mean, there's got to be something wrong with it, right? Is it broken? Is it too old? I wanted to figure that out. What makes some lights so good and others so bad? I think you'd be interested in the answer.
Pulling up to an intersection and the light turns red. At the right traffic light, you're on your way in a matter of seconds. But some make you wait for pedestrians that aren't really there, give the green to a car that pulled up after you, or just seem to take an eternity. Why is that?
That's part of the job that I really love, is figuring out what is actually going on.
Brian Meenan is the man in charge of making traffic lights work in Salt Lake City. He says there's a handful of reasons some lights just don't work as well as you'd like. And a lot of it has to do with a range of technology each one uses, how often they're updated, and how they're programmed.
This is the brains. This is the controller.
Meenan tells me his office manages 255 traffic lights in Salt Lake City. Of those, 54 aren't programmed with any way to detect cars. 19 have loop sensors built under the ground to detect when a car pulls up to the light. 63 use different fixed cameras to see cars approaching. And 117 use radar, similar to radar guns police officers might use for traffic stops.
And the radar sends out a beam, and whatever's bounced back, they analyze it, and we can tell where the vehicles are at as they approach.
What they're not using yet is LiDAR, which stands for Light Detection and Ranging, and looks like this. Lasers create multiple points that detect both people and cars, giving traffic engineers an expanded view of the intersection and the ability to adapt to traffic issues in real time.
It's basically like an AI picture of what's happening at any particular intersection. It can give us information that in the past we have not really been able to get.
UDOT is using it right now at state-managed intersections like Washington Boulevard and 24th Street in Ogden. One of 56 LiDAR traffic signals here in Utah, with 77 more rolling out by the end of the month.
It's really the wave of the future.
Places like Salt Lake City plan to begin adding LiDAR to intersections next summer. But at the city level, swapping out the technology is slow and expensive. City traffic engineers say upgrading an intersection, lights, poles, and all cost the city $560,000 a pop. And Salt Lake only has the money and manpower to do 3 to 5 a year. That leaves many city-managed intersections aging out with old technology.
We're getting about 40 years out of a signal. We have much older signals right now, but we're shooting for 40 years.
Salt Lake's oldest signal at 2700 South Highland Drive hasn't been updated with new tech in 90 years. Other factors include how lights are programmed. Depending on the intersection location, it may be programmed to sync up with other traffic lights, giving some drivers good odds for the greens or red after red if you don't go with the flow. Where there's high foot traffic, lights could automatically start the timer for pedestrians, physically there or not, or only activate when you push the button.
And that's just the half of it. Coming up tomorrow, I'll show you the light that always gets it right and why more lights can't be programmed that way. Back to you.
All right, Brian, thank you. Well,
Thank you.
Yeah.
The West Jordan Fire Department is taking what it believes is the first of its kind step to help meet increasing demand among an aging population. Chief Derek Maxfield says healthcare costs are driving people to call for an ambulance for medical assistance instead of just reaching out and going to their doctors. So the department has now partnered with a private home health company to connect patients with when they call.
We provide an avenue for them to refer that patient to get the care that they actually need.
The chief says many people don't realize what care is available to them, often for free. He says the department is already seeing positive benefits. Last month was the